that fucking Shrapknel is incredible. Yeah. Hey, peace. Welcome back. You guys hear us right now. We're just getting into it. Yeah, we're going to be reviewing the Shrapknel today.
We are.
Yeah.
We are going to review the
Shrapknel.
today.
So that'll be out on the day that it drops. I highly recommend you guys go check out the Rap Music Plug podcast. There's going to be a listening party, I think, next Friday morning, America time sometime. I'll probably be in there, but I think Controller 7, I think Prim and Castro are going to be over there, so we'll listen to the album. They'll give some, like, juicy tidbits about it and such, and on that same day, we'll release this episode, that episode, rather.
Little companion to your listening experience.
Yeah, and in the background, you guys hear the Mach. We're going to do a review on that, but I think we're going to wait until we get some of the homies in, just to give you guys a little bit of a fresher stance on it, considering that it is one of the more popular type of albums that we ever really touch on. He's a bigger person in the sphere than, you know, a Sleep Sinatra. So we're going to do a Sleep Sinatra Bloomcycle review today, the Shrapknel as well as the Rapsody album.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have liked to have some other people in for the Rapsody as well, but also there's only so much time in the day, and Jed and I are tremendously busy or lazy.
Tired and drunk.
Yeah, and lazy. But yeah, thanks for clocking back in. Those are reviews we got coming up. I think we'll do the Mach. Did you listen to the Teller Banks shit that I told you about?
Not yet.
I was thinking about maybe doing the Mach, the Teller Banks, and I still want to hit that Soul album.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see. That one can maybe wait a little bit. Yeah, also, shout out to all the patrons, all the subscribers, all the likers, all the commenters, and the people who don't do any of that stuff and just stumbled across us. I think Jed and I we formalized doing these update videos every week, which allows us to talk about some weird things. We've got a loose structure, and I think we're going to start branding. We're going to start titling these as OddCipherDivine, and they'll go into the OddCipherDivine, the OCD playlist. Starting here is episode 0. There
you go.
Yeah.
8.
So we're gonna, like, the loose format is basically just like shouting out, letting you guys know what we're reviewing, thanking you guys for watching the last videos, maybe talking about a comment or two from the last videos or the last album discussions that we did. We'll also maybe do some topical things, as well as song shares, maybe some song or like song reactions, video reactions that we'll incorporate into the what would it be called, the production here, so it'll be on screen. But we you know, we're just trying to freak it. We want to get out more content, and to be quite honest with you, like, the way that I listen to albums, I feel tremendously overwhelmed trying to write down notes and take all of the art seriously every week. 3 albums is a bit much.
It's a lot.
Especially when it's just both of us, because, you know, we do all the lifting and we don't really have a third to kind of buffer and add for time or present another perspective, so it sits on both of our shoulders. But yeah, and yeah, I think we're going to start incorporating, bringing other people in too, because, as you know, L Spade is still back in the States, and I have no idea when he'll be back, if ever. So yeah, that's a joint. We'll do a song share this episode and shit, and highlight something. I want to remind you guys to go check out that Pedestrian that's out. That's for a very good cause and super dope. I just got the little PDF that accompanies the album, and so yeah, I'm gonna share that with Jet, and it's got the lyrics, and it's really wonderful. Yeah, did you for a topical thing here, did you hear that Wu-Tang, that enigmatic Wu-Tang album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, will be displayed for public listening?
In, like, Melbourne or something? It's in, like, Australia? Yeah, I
Australian island of Tasmania.
Oh, in Tasmania.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a little doper than Melbourne, because that's just off the beaten path a little bit.
Yeah.
But the album has to be trash, right?
Well, I mean, even the members said it was trash.
It's like a Silver Rings joint that, like, him and RZA, like, put together, and then there's, like, a bunch of, like, Killer Bees and, like, Wu-Tang adjacent guys on there. And Killer Priest is on there, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But then, like, I know, like, U-God tried to sue because apparently they just, like, threw on a random U-God verse that, like, he hadn't given permission for. Like, I was under the impression that maybe, like, the actual, like, core members of the Wu weren't directly consulted on the creation of the record. It was kind of just like, yeah, we're gonna use this verse. Oh, okay, bet.
This is not surprising to me.
Considering,
Seems like
it was kind of just
dealings.
like RZA and Silver Rings going off and doing their own thing, as opposed to actually being like the new Wu album.
Well, you know,
kind of like A Better Tomorrow was, which was not an album I listened to.
I mean, I was a huge Wu fan in the 90s. I think the last like really strong Wu work that I loved, and didn't have to lie to myself about loving was Supreme Clientele, which to me that album kind of marks the end of the 90s era. I know it came out like in mid 2000, but to me that sonically and just the approach, that kind of like puts a capstone on the 90s for me. That and like Deltron 3030. But it's hard to like Wu. The new Ghostface is just terrible. Like I listened to like 2 songs and I was just like, man, I as much as I champion those guys and appreciate everything they've done, I wouldn't be the person who I am today without their music. Like I'm just like, there's no way that I really need to go listen to that. I need to go listen to that as much as I need to go listen to a new Eminem song.
Oh,
and
there you go. Yeah,
it's a bad idea. I did listen to that new Eminem song, and it was bad.
I did not.
It got stuck in my head too because it like uses a refrain from Abracadabra.
I'm sure.
And that song is lovely and catchy, but Eminem using it is just like, ugh. And the bars are terrible. Yeah. The bars are terrible.
I saw people moaning online about was it like do you think I could get a Megan Thee Stallion? Like, could I get on a track with Megan Thee Stallion? Could I hit a feat or something like that? Making a reference to this domestic abuse situation that happened to this poor woman.
He's like over 50, right? He's like 50 years old, maybe. Eminem,
something like that, yeah.
And it's still the corniest shit. Like I don't know. I keep on, throughout his entire career, because Eminem came out, I was in like 10th grade.
Yeah.
9th or 10th grade. Maybe like 99 or not 99, like 98, 97 type of shit, right?
Yeah.
And we had heard rumblings of him underground, like, freestyles, being at like, battling guys like Dose One and shit like that. And I've always appreciated his ability to like, craft lyrics, but his lyrics have always been something that I found like corny in a lot of ways, especially how anti-pop culture he was. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like you're making fun of pop culture. I get that, respect that. But now he is like pop culture.
He is the popular culture,
like, yeah. And then he's got like the worst fucking beats and the worst choruses, and his fan base is the fucking worst.
I do get like these for some reason my algorithm, I think because my algorithm on YouTube has a lot of hip hop and it has a lot of like combat sports, they started giving me this entire subgenre of like established scary black men saying that they're scared of Eminem. So you'd have like Mike Tyson like on a podcast being like, and then I met this guy from 8 Mile and he had this terror in his eyes. I was like, that's a bad man. That's a bad man. And then all the comments are just like, even Tyson, Eminem does with words what Tyson does with his fists. And if even Mike Tyson fears you, like you should know, how much power you have. Like people are really, really into it. I assume all of these people were 14. But for some reason,
they're also like 38-year-old white dudes that don't really like hip hop and people that grew up with it and shit. But
that's where my algorithm is at the moment. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, the problem is like I know that as soon as I watched that Eminem video, that my algorithm was going to get thrown for a fucking loop for the next couple weeks, and I was probably going to have all types of bullshit on there. But I kind of, it was like a morbid curiosity to check it out.
Somebody asked me about it at work today. They're like, "Oh, what's your thoughts on you have a hip hop show? What's your thoughts on you and Eminem?" I was like, I didn't listen to it.
It's not good, bro. I kind of want to force you to listen to it, but I won't do that.
Don't do it on the show.
I wouldn't.
Don't do it on
that.
the show.
But yeah, back to that Wu album. No thanks.
Yeah,
no thanks.
I do have I have like a in-joke kind of thing with my friends. Like Inspector Deck released Inspector Deck, quote unquote here, released an album that I think was meant to be like dubstep remixes of like one of his solo records, and it's like the most hilariously bad thing I've ever heard. There's like I think most of it's been scrubbed from the internet, but if you look up like Inspector Deck Manifesto Redux trailer or something like that, there's this like or like iMovie or like Microsoft Filmmaker trailer with all the preset effects. Like Inspector Deck combined with the cutting edge genre of dubstep comes together, and then it's like, yeah, it's very cheaply made dubstep with a bunch of Inspector Deck verses on it. It's pretty hilarious.
What's wild to me is like not all the Woo cats have gotten worse. Like I actually think Method Man's rapping has gotten better, and he's always been super dope, but now he's a little bit more technical in terms of like the wordplay, and I think he's gotten a lot doper. Inspector Deck hasn't really dropped the ball, but his music to me just sounds like very dated, and he doesn't have much to say other than like,
I think in that case
it's like a rapper's rapping.
Also just like this Wu-Tang album, which was like also sold as an NFT to try and clear off some of Martin Shkreli's debts and stuff. There's just a cynicism to it. I mean, Wu Inc. is like a mass media thing. Yeah, that video where Ghostface is like yelling at Action Bronson, which is a very, very good video until it stops being a very good video. Yeah. Like the first half where he's just insulting him and shit is very, very funny. Yeah. And I like Action Bronson, but it's a funny video. And then it cuts to this weird like promo about like his like cannabis oil that he's selling, and he brings out like some random old Latina woman, and he's like, someone's like, I had the cancer and then I took the woo goo and now I'm going to be okay. And I was like, that can't be legal. That's got to be illegal.
There are a variety of them are like my disappointing hip hop heroes. I loved Ghost, I love RZA, and like RZA's kind of what he stands for now and what he represents, and also kind of like I thought that they were really smart cats when I was younger, and maybe they are smart for in some spaces, but I thought he was going to be like an intellectual, and then you listen to him talk and the way he tries to like incorporate all this intellectualism into his work, with it's really not all that intellectual at all, or even thoughtful, or even well read. It's just disappointing to kind of listen to them. But with RZA, at least he seems, outside of like the dirty business tricks, he seems to be at least like a decent human being for the most part. Yeah. But I saw Ghostface when I was dating this I dated this chick who I told you she used to write for like Japanese Source magazine. She's super dope, and she's a tremendous hip hop head, and she's like very good friends with a lot of people who we love. Like she be kicking with Havoc like all the time. Like they're very close friends, they're homies, and so she's like a head. She knows the shit, but she's also like a fan of things, and so she'll watch the big hair don't care. It's difficult with those headphones on. Yeah. But she was watching like couples therapy that had fucking Ghostface on it. And like he's on there and he's doing the Ghostface thing. He's doing like, the pretty Tony, like carrying himself the way he does. I don't know if it's a facade or a character, or like how much of that is organic. I like to think that that's him, and he's not trying to fucking, you know what I mean? Sure. Like he's like a genuine person, that's what I thought. But the way that he was acting on the show and the way that he treated that woman, I was just like, this is like, he's not a person that I would want to be around. Like his morals and it's fine. I know a lot of like people who are terrible, who even some of them are in my family. They do like wild shit, but I was just like, man, like it's so disappointing to see a 40-something-year-old man who carries themselves like that. And it comes back to like the values that I have when I listen to music. Like I don't proclaim to listen to only artists that are like moral or upright or some things. Like the authenticity must be key. If you're selling drugs and you're killing people, all right, I might listen to your life story, but if you're doing it now, I'm kind of like, I'm not as impressed, like, and then when you have people like Eminem who are like shooting shots at like Meg Thee Stallion, I'm like, that is so, like, what is on your mind? Like, are you just trying to be edgy? Like, to me, all of these like South Park style rappers who are just like edgy without knowing shit, or guys like Ghost who just never really grew up or matured, it sucks. You don't see that shit from Inspector Deck like that. You don't see that shit from Meth or even Redman, who are, crazy partiers and shit like that. They didn't really get, it's like, man, Wu is so disappointing for me. And in the sheer number of Wu-Tang shit that I have in my house, is crazy. I've got that. I got a laundry
there's a
basket
laundry
with a Wu
basket down
symbol on
there.
it. I still love what it represented, and I still champion them to the utmost. And I will say, like, my favorite album from the 90s is probably Only Built for Cuban Links. I put that above
36 Chambers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely above 36 Chamber, but I put it above everybody's, Illmatic.
Swords, Illmatic.
Illmatic, they say, like, that's, to me, I think that album, Only Built for Cuban Links, was so influential to the scene, and it almost doesn't get the credit for it, but they were doing the Wu Gambino shit, and then next thing you know, Nas is mafioso. Next thing you know, Biggie is mafioso. Next thing you know, every New York person was mafioso with that shit. And it's just like, the things that they were doing back then, it's like, it's so cinematic. An album that reminds me of the kind of cinematic world building element of Only Built for Cuban Links is Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes.
And I think that they're very comparable in that regard, despite being, completely different sonically. But man, like, that album is, to this day, everything is amazing on it. And it sucks when your Hip Hop Heroes is trash. I imagine this is how it feels for people that were like big Bill Cosby fans. You know what I mean? Like, it's like all of a sudden your hero is like,
perspective.
Yeah.
Because, like, I might disagree with, Riz's like pseudo-intellectualism or whatever, but like, he ain't doing what Bill Cosby did.
It ain't 47 with 39,
so, a little
800 women
there,
and shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah, I feel it's don't meet your heroes ultimately, right?
Another thing about it too is like the fandom thing for me in hip hop has always been very strange. Like, I find it weird. I find fandom very strange. I was lucky that my father, he loves my stepdad rather. He loves sports. That's all he watched pretty much as I was growing up. Every single sport, basketball, football. He'll watch golf. He'll watch, you know what I mean? Like, every single sport. And he's knowledgeable, but he's never been one of those guys that like yells at the TV screen or puts all the things up in the house and goes crazy and gets confrontational with other fans about things like that. I've never liked that type of fandom, and I was lucky that I didn't have a dad that did that. And when it comes to hip hop culture, when you have these people who the music has affected them so much that they've began to look at this character, this person as like on a parasocial level, even that all of a sudden, like, if Kanye does something bad, then like things like they have to disavow. Like, I've never been a fan like that, where it's like what my people are doing is like really hurting me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't believe they just like, I like during the Kendrick and
Drake
beef, you see people like wilding, like just absolutely not looking at things. And I'm not saying you have to get towards objectivity, but the like the disillusion of a lot of things and the approach is like, I mean, calm down.
People are just happy to see someone of Drake's height fall ultimately, right? That's all it comes down to.
Me in particular, like me especially.
I'm all for it, but it's like I don't think the reaction that we've seen online is because Not Like Us was just such an incredible diss track that it ended Drake's career. I think it's very much just a case of like, fuck Drake. We're all very done with Drake. Everyone's very fatigued by the existence of Drake.
Yeah.
It'd be like if fucking Everything Everywhere All at Once 2 was about how shit the Marvel movies were. I think a lot of people would be like, this is the best movie ever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I feel that. Like, I don't know. Just relax your fandom and maybe get better heroes. I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of shit. Like, I'll listen to anything, I suppose, at least once, but I don't listen to a lot of shit that has like very different morals than me in a lot of ways. You know, like I just don't like, as an enjoyment of the music, I don't really get into it like that. Like, I can watch a movie about like maybe a horror movie or some shit and be like, okay, I see that as a piece of art. And I should look at music that way too, but something about hip hop is just a little bit too serious for me, that when I listen to people talk, I have to view them as not an actor. I have to view them as an artist, but ultimately like a peer, a person that should have values, or a person that comes from my same culture. So if in the same way that if I came from Tasmania and I was outside and I saw a bunch of Tasmanian people representing very strangely, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is not something that we do. This is not how we react. This is not how you should be carrying yourself in public. It's embarrassing. I get secondhand embarrassment from some of those Eminem bars. It's just like, it's gross. I hate telling people that I'm into hip hop music because it's just like, they're like, oh, like the shit that's terrible, like, you know what I mean? That everybody knows. It's like, no, I'm talking about somebody else here.
A lot of the time when I talk to people about Secret House and what we've been doing on the show, I'm like, yeah, we talk about hip hop. Because of the kind of person I am and because of the kinds of person I'm talking to, sometimes they'll be like, oh, what, like 90s hip hop? And I'm like, no, like shit that's coming out today. And they seem like surprised by that because, they're people who don't really listen to or like hip hop.
They have no idea what's bubbling.
They don't know what's bubbling on the ground. They don't know what's cool at the moment. It's just kind of like they know that like 36 Chambers good, 21 Savage bad. And that's kind of as far as the understanding goes.
Sure.
But at least we'll always have the Guitar Center video.
You want to watch it? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't want to ruin my day a little bit. We're having a good time. We're drinking alcohol and shit.
Video reaction.
Yeah, that's another thing. These next few videos I'm going to be drinking. We're recording late on a Saturday night here in Tokyo. Not Saturday night, Saturday evening. Sun's just gone down.
I'm already drunk. I've been drinking since like 1.
I did see that, and I was like, I wonder if it's just going to be down to still record because of I can't drink for 8 hours anymore.
We're doing this. Yeah. We already like delayed a couple of times.
What did we delay for last week? We're tired.
Wednesday just didn't happen. Yeah. Wednesday didn't happen because I went kind of crazy on Tuesday night. But yeah, we're back. We're back in this.
Shout out to that. Let me turn this on. Let's share a little music thingy. Yeah, and then get out of here. Let me see what I'm gonna share. In the background right now, Wavy Bagels beats.
Yeah, that Dark Souls flip like gets me every time, man.
Yeah, you like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that. That was the one that you were trying to talk about in the
last time. I just put that out there. It's like, hey, anybody recognize this sample? Yeah, it's from maybe Demon Souls. I don't remember which one, but it's a Souls game sample.
Yeah, I don't know that. I've never played any of those games. I'm still on Apex ranked.
What? I don't know if you would like or you'd either love or despise those games. I'm not sure which.
From what I hear about Demon Souls, it's like challenging. And
yes,
it being so challenging is like part of it. Not like a lot of times I'll play a game, like I'll play Last of Us and I'll put it on easy mode and I'll just fucking run it easy to get through the game.
They're the only games I've played where like the game's themes and ideas are so heavily expressed through their gameplay. Like considering that they have this like European fantasy setting, the Souls games are like very, very Buddhist in their approach. They look at a lot of themes of, cycles of death and reincarnation and kind of like futility of existence, but at the same time finding the moments of joy and hope that you can, in these kind of, deeply troubling times. And I think the games have a lot to say about like the human condition and kind of where we're at right now. And they're very Japanese about it. And they're just very interesting games to think about, very interesting games to examine, like the stories that they tell, especially the first one, like or specifically Dark Souls 1. And then Sekiro as well is also very, very good in that respect.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously the difficulty is a very large barrier to many people. And I go back and forth on like whether or not that's something that like, should those games have an easy mode? I don't know. It's a very tedious argument. And I have no idea. I have no clue.
I settled into playing games on easy mode when I got older. I was just like, I barely have enough time to play games, and like I'd like to complete them, especially when it's a game that's like story focused.
Yeah.
And so like if I'm dying to a boss for 3 nights, I'm just like, all right, let's fucking figure this shit out.
But then also, the sense of reward you get from beating those games is absolutely unique. Like there's nothing like, maybe like pro speedrunners.
You don't have to keep turning that on. I'm fine. I'm
best,
chilling.
Like,
yeah.
Guitar Hero players or whatever, when they full combo a song, maybe they get the same sense of accomplishment. Sure. I'm assuming that it's like a, almost like a runner's high or something like that, My
nephew Trey, he's like an achievement whore, like a trophy whore.
Yeah,
like he plays games and tries to get like 100% completion.
Sure.
And like that's like a goal for him. He's like one of those people that likes to achieve like certain goals in games. And me, I'm just like, I didn't get any platinum trophies on this one, but it was fun. I'll come back to Titan 2 maybe in 10 years when somebody reminds me about it. So Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2. Great game. Really good game.
Yeah, word. Let me get into my little share here.
Hit it.
My share this week is an album that dropped on May 12th. My birthday, shout out, is by Deleteeglitch, who we've interacted with on a
couple of extra E's in there, right?
Yeah,
like Deleteeglitch.
Yeah, Deleteeglitch.
Yes.
Right, but I think it's just Deleteeglitch. I don't recall him saying it.
Just the spelling for the listeners.
You know, it's hip hop if it's spelled wrong. But yeah, the album is called Head Size Wall Dents. And it's like 14 songs. It dropped. It's on your streaming services and whatnot. There's a lot of. He's a producer, rapper, MC, beat maker, artist from I think Florida, and the album has a bunch of producers on it: Sadu Gold, Ed Glorious, Scoops, Doof, Captain Cipriani. It also got a bunch of features from MCs that we like and appreciate, like Sleep Sinatra, who we're going to be reviewing today in his album with Bloomcycle.
Yep.
It's got Denmark Vesey on it, and so yeah, like this, it's a really dope hip hop album, and I would have recommended it to be something for us to record, but as we just kept on getting more and more backed up on albums, I decided that I might as well just go ahead and toss some love for it here. And give it a share for you guys to pick up on this track, and I'm gonna let it rock some. I'm gonna let it rock some and be quiet for a second before we speak on it.
Yep.
I think with this caliber artist, this level of artistry, we're not going to get the video pulled.
No.
I think they do. I don't know. I've been looking into
it's like
that.
an automated thing, but we're not monetizing this anyway, so
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Denmark's up first. Shout out to Denmark Vesey. Google Denmark Vesey and Google Denmark Vesey.
Tried displaying death to my daughter. Without the same conjecture, I was brought up on. Question everything must get audited, and maybe I could raise the sophist. Some Fibonacci and a Nautilus. I know nature isn't all of us. Some glaciers gon' dissolve with us. Hatred is devolving. My face in my palm, faith placed in an almond. My tears taste sweet like dates in the shaman, or a prayer to thin air. A love when I can talk with. Naked soul, please don't weep for me. I peek above, I face below. That's poor righteous teacher frequency. That's just how shit be going. This ain't no silly poem on my hips, it's really Cohen's. And I'm knowing I ain't tripping, I know you felt the shift too recently. Now let's expose.
Bro, Denmark is. I like those ad libs in the background. It's like wow. But Denmark is so ill. He said, these ain't no silly poems. All my hymns are really koans. You know, the Buddhist koan, the paradoxical anecdotes. You know what I mean? And this beat is crazy. It shit sounds like Elon Musk Neuralink brain chip fucking glitching out because you haven't made your monthly payments. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like a weird tinnitus cluster headache where you're trying to access your high school sweetheart's like fucking hair color.
Those poor monkeys.
Yeah, bro. It does sound like some fucked up. Yeah, the frequency is fucked up. It sounds like harp, you know, like changing the weather. Yeah, those poor fucking monkeys. But hold on, here goes and then Deleteeglitch comes in hard and it's dope. Wow.
Denmark Vesey. And while you're speaking about it, I did feel that shift. It was like a change in the wind. One of those things you notice in hindsight. You feel me? I said, Sandra showed me chill, so I'm kicking it tonight strictly in her honor. One thing about existence is it's infinite departure. Pretending this is beneficial like entering Nicaragua. He showed a glance and saw his lonesome, it was him up against the trauma. A microdose of stability, the jagged nails say another wise. Water served up with the number 9, the eye whites was all colorized. It's not my first time, hopping off my 5th go around like what a ride. But the 6 I struck a rich, now watch the eyes as they come alive. Your favorite revolute, whatever could give a fuck about your betterment. It's less about whatever you think and more about wherever the cheddar went. Organize something other than infographs, like maybe evidence. Signing rolled while the woke skull continued on meddling. Appearance doesn't have to rely on tradition, just look interesting. Flip and click, flip and click, flip and click, flip and click. Nothing wrong with withering. PBJ with the sentiment. got the ruffles and the Dr. Pepper. I just got a gadget, now stand back and watch me block the weather. As you mad la la in the bedpan, she cut the Bluetooth to FM. Was that get down music? So when she asked if that was alright, I said yes ma'am. Everything that seemed productive was resulting in having my head in my hands. Sunk costs.
And he produces one too, by the way. Like some of the tracks are produced by other cats, but he's also an ill fire producer, and I think that's how I got hip to his music. I feel like he reached out to us before and said like peace or some shit like this. Yeah. Shout out to him because to them because they're fire, and we'll get to an album of theirs one of these days. Maybe we'll get to this one. Who knows? Who's like the future is bright. We do anything we want. Is there anything you want to share today, Jack?
Dos Monos put out a new record yesterday.
Oh yeah, Dos Atmos.
Dos Atomos. Yeah. I didn't actually listen to it yet. I just wanted to show some love.
Let's look at the titles and see what we like here.
We got Chegi featuring Otomo Yoshihide, who's like a pioneer of noise music. That was the single.
Okay.
Yeah, it's some Tokyo shit.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Dos Monos, their debut album came out on like Death Bomb Arc.
That's right, yeah.
Which was also the home of like JPEG Mafia for a while. Yeah. I think Angry Black Men are on there right now. Quite a few acts. I think Clipping is also on there at some point. Yeah. So kind of in that lane of challenging experimental, avant-garde, if you will. Yeah, and their music is... Yeah, they're all Japanese dudes, but some of them speak English all right. Back in my podcasting days, I had a Mega Late Show episode with the three of them. There's all English spoken, and it's a pretty interesting insight. They have a lot of... the music is weird as shit is because they all have great kind of musical taste that is that is kind of beyond their age.
Unconventional backgrounds as well, right? I think I remember seeing a thing where like maybe Soshit said that he, like the first hip hop record he ever listened to was Donuts or something like that, which he would have been like 16 years old when that album came out.
Did he say that on our podcast?
I don't remember. Possibly.
I think we might have the first or the maybe at the time it was definitely the only English spoken podcast
with them.
Yeah.
Interview.
But they all love like fucking Captain Beefheart and fucking Animal Collective, and
every now and then I'll swing by Botsu's Discord server and like all those cats on there, like guys like Naked Under Leather, and it's escaping me now, but like a lot of these cats on there, there's some really, really dope, like real avant-garde weird dudes on there making real dope avant-garde weird music. They do little sample flip challenges on there, and like a lot of the stuff that gets made is
wild.
This same kind of vibe. I'll give some flowers to Otomo Yoshihide as well, you know, like a very pioneering artist in the Japanese noise scene. I first like discovered him through I was watching like NHK World, which is like the the national kind of broadcast, and the World Channel is kind of the English version of that, where they translate some of their shows into English. And they had a show on there called J Mellow, where they would highlight Japanese music, which is kind of how I first kind of started really like learning shit about Japanese music. And a lot of that stuff was like very mainstream, very poppy kind of stuff. And then for some reason they displayed a performance of Ko Anode Ko Anode. I'm not sure if it's Anode or Anode because there's words in English and Japanese by Otomo Yoshihide, and he has a whole live band just doing some crazy wild experimental improvised like noise kind of music. And Otomo he's got like an SL1200 in front of him, and he's just got like a drum cymbal instead of a vinyl record on there, and he's just spinning that
tight
on this record player, like tight. He's like scratching on it. It's just like, and it was insane. And I was like, I'm sure this like absolutely destroyed the life of some weeb who was watching J Mello at the time and didn't know about noise music.
I could have, hopefully it inspired him to be fucking less of a weeb and more fucking
weird.
Yeah. Oh, this is pretty fire, actually. The tradition of experimental music in Japan, experimental electronic music, especially in particular, is fascinating. And these guys, Dos Monos, just come from that. I used to feel like I was pretty friendly with Boats and we were friends, but I actually haven't spoken to him in like 3 years maybe at this point.
I know he moved out to Nagoya and he's like just come back to Tokyo. I think he's just getting settled in right now. Like he was married and stuff. Like another friend of mine knows him pretty well as well. And I've heard that he's like back in Tokyo because I peeped the Discord, but
I've still got him online. It's just that I just haven't hit him up.
Yeah.
But this is hard. This is far.
I'll probably shoot a message over to because the whole crew like on the Discord, like the manager and stuff is on there as well. So and they all speak English. I'll probably shoot them a link to this as well. Just let them know that we're talking about the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the album's Dosa Tomos. It just came out. Peep it. It's dope and weird and interesting.
Brother from the experimental experimental rap,
extraordinary rap.
Excuse me, extraordinary rap. Yeah. He hit me up today and was like, "Yo, new Dos Monos," and I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, you know the vibes. Like those are the type of cats that rock with it. This album is. I want to see this live. We got to make sure we find out when it's performed.
Launch party, the release party is like in like a couple of weeks. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to that, but yeah.
I wonder where we'll be at. We'll pay attention. Also, I know there's another person from Tokyo, more than one person from Tokyo that's in our Discord, so we'll probably post it in there if we figure it out. Anything else? Do we have anything else? Shout out to the Patreons. We should think about something to do for the patrons. I really want to make a little bit more money on it so we can get you some like equipment for recording at your house and shit like that. And also it'll be tight to get some better headphones in here too. Yeah, but shout out to the patrons. Shout out to Noname Book Club, Caltrops Press, Sonic Cloth, the Rap Music Plug Podcast, Call Out Culture, Extraordinary Rap Podcast, and everybody else who's dope and doing it out there. We are with you in Rockland, and yeah.